Karen accused my niece of trespassing on our Lakeside ranch. HOA got hit with a federal lawsuit. You ever watch someone scream at a child for kayaking on water her own family owns and then get sued by the United States government? Because I have. And I'll never forget the look on Karen's face when the lawsuit hit her desk like divine punishment in PDF form. It started on a quiet Saturday afternoon, the kind where the breeze smells like cedar and the lake glistens just right. My niece Kayla had just turned 14. Smart kid. Sweet. Loves biology, kayaking, and minding her own business. She couldn't spend the summer with us, helping my wife catalog native plants and maybe get some time away from the city. We live on what's left of my grandfather's Lakeside ranch. The land's been in our family since the 1890s, and while the buildings have changed, the soul hasn't. Wide stretches of pasture, wooden fences patched with stories, and a sparkling lake that touches the edge of our property legally. Mind you, right down to the sediment line. Then came Karen. Fat, red-faced, waddling like a bulldozer in church heels. President of the local HOA, not ours, of course. Our ranch was exempt, but that never stopped her. Her face always looked like someone just stole her last piece of pie. Her voice could cut through screen doors. And her attitude? Pure vinegar. That Saturday, she came storming down the slope in a too-tight floral sun hat and orthopedic sandals, phone already clutched in one hand like a sheriff's badge. You can't be on this lake," she shrieked, pointing directly at Kayla, who was floating maybe 20 feet from shore in her neon blue kayak. "This is private HOA recreation access only." I was cutting wood nearby, dropped my axe mid-swing. My wife emerged from the greenhouse with her hands still covered in compost. "Kayla?" She looked around like Karen had lost her damn mind. "She's my niece," I said. "This lake is ours. Always has been." Karen puffed up, cheeks jiggling. "Wrong. That inlet feeds into the HOA-managed reservoir. Section 14B states, all surrounding access points fall under HOA visual jurisdiction." I blinked. Visual jurisdiction? She nodded smugly, like she'd just dropped a constitutional bombshell. And she added, "You'll be receiving a violation notice. That boat is not registered. It's an eyesore, and she's trespassing on HOA-claimed water. She's literally floating in front of our property," I said, stepping forward. Karen ignored me and dialed 911. And she really said this on the call. "Yes, we have a teenage trespasser operating a watercraft dangerously close to restricted HOA waters. She's possibly unlicensed and resisting verbal correction." Kayla hadn't even taken out her earbuds. The deputy came. He was polite, even rolled his eyes behind Karen's back. He checked our deed, asked Kayla if she was okay, and left. Karen didn't. That night, Kayla found her kayak dragged 50 feet up the hill with the rudder snapped clean off. We didn't see who did it, but we didn't need to. Karen's pink visor was lying in the grass right next to it. We replaced the kayak and installed trail cams. Next week, Karen showed up again, this time with 2 HOA board members and a printed violation packet thick enough to choke a horse. She waved it like scripture. "This is your final notice. Continued noncompliance will result in enforcement actions and possible litigation." That's when my wife, quiet, kind, brilliant, stepped forward with a USB drive. "I think the judge might be interested in this," she said softly. Turns out, my wife had recorded Karen's entire tantrum, including the call where she lied to police. But better yet, she had drone footage from earlier that week. Karen had waded waist-deep into our side of the lake, dragging flags, trying to stake fake boundary lines in the mud. That wasn't all. 2 of her neighbors, who'd kept their distance for months out of fear of HOA retaliation, came by with their own stories. One had been fined $500 for sunlight misalignment, meaning his patio umbrella cast a shadow on a path Karen claimed was hers. The other? Told she couldn't paint her deck because her dog had barked during quiet hours. My wife compiled everything. I contacted a friend, a federal land management attorney, who nearly choked on his coffee when I told him Karen was enforcing visual jurisdiction over water she'd known. You know what happens when an HOA knowingly issues legal notices enforces fines, and modifies property boundaries outside their legal territory. It's called fraudulent authority, and when the land touches federally protected water bodies, that becomes federal fraud. We filed suit, and not just civil. We contacted the Department of Housing and Urban Development, who looped in the DOJ. Turns out Karen's HOA had applied for water management grants, which meant they received federal funds, which meant they were legally required to honor property boundaries. Any misrepresentation? That's federal abuse. Karen had signed every grant. Personally, when the federal letter came, Karen didn't believe it was real. She marched over to our fence with a cheap manila envelope clutched in her pudgy fist, accusing us of forgery. "You think I'm stupid?" she yelled, jowls shaking. "This isn't real. You printed this off your home computer." I didn't even respond. I just pointed to the return address on the envelope. U.S. Department of Justice Civil Enforcement Division. Her face turned the color of raw ham. Then came the media. Our case, filed under federal fraud and civil abuse of power, hit the news because of one single phrase buried deep in the brief: visual jurisdiction exerted without deed-based authority or riparian rights. That line became a meme. TikTok ate it alive. HOA horror stories came pouring in from across the country. But Karen? Karen went silent. Too bad the investigators didn't. Turns out, Karen had used HOA funds to buy surveillance gear, thermal drones, extended range mics, and even 2 motion-activated water-level cameras she secretly installed behind neighbors' docks. She claimed they were for ecological monitoring. In reality, she was watching everyone. Worse, she had been approving fake violation notices using a fake attorney name, C. Daniels, HOA legal officer. No such person existed. It was Karen, the whole time. When the Fed subpoenaed HOA financials, they discovered nearly $80,000 in miscellaneous community expenses rerouted through a dummy LLC. That LLC was tied to a P.O. box in a strip mall. Surveillance receipts, water stake rentals, and legal threats all connected to one PayPal account. Karen's. The court date came, and we all showed up: neighbors, former board members, even Kayla, who wore her kayaking is not a crime shirt proudly under her denim jacket. Karen showed up last. No sun hat, no heels, just a sagging pantsuit, dark glasses, and a face so clenched it looked like she'd swallowed a lemon whole. She pled no contest to federal fraud, HOA racketeering, falsification of legal documents, and abuse of public funds. Her sentence? 3 years probation, full restitution, permanent ban from any HOA leadership position nationwide. But it didn't stop there. Our lawsuit dissolved the HOA entirely. The community voted unanimously to disband it, strip its bylaws, and hand management back to county authorities. Karen's home? Leaned. Her SUV? Repossessed. Her legacy? Shredded. Funny thing is, we didn't ask for any of that. We just wanted a kayak. After the dust settled, we hosted a lake party, first one in years. Kayla led the charge, paddling out with a flag tied to the back of her boat that read, "This is still our water." People cheered. Music played. Kids splashed. And not one single person asked for a permit. A month later, we planted a live oak near the shore, where Karen used to stake her fake flags. My wife carved a plaque into the trunk. Freedom floats. As for Karen, rumor has it she moved to a condo 2 counties over. In HOA, she's blacklisted. Sometimes I still think about that moment, her screaming across the lake like she was guarding Fort Knox from a teenage girl in a life jacket. And I wonder, when someone accuses a child of trespassing just to feel powerful and ends up losing everything because of it, is that justice or just karma finally paddling back? The end.